Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we actually do introductions, this is going to be a fun episode. I wanted to go back in time a little bit um, to when I first started teaching tarot and when I first started teaching about intuition. And the first couple of lessons that I did not so much into the structure of the tarot or the major arcana, the minor arcana, the court cards. It was way more about being playful and having fun and making accessing your intuition into more of a game that I realized like that's where I had the most success, not just in accessing my own intuition, but also seeing other people access their intuition was gamifying and making it fun because it is fun. It is fun to be able to learn a new skill. And you do have to remember that tarot did start out as a game, as a playing card game similar to bridge. So I always like to remind my tarot students about that fact, to engage in a sense of play when they're accessing their intuition or when they're learning something like tarot. So on that note, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit unusual, and we are going to test our psychic knowledge with Zener Cards. But first, let's do the introduction splash video, and I will be back in 20 seconds to explain it all. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader or tarot professional, or yeah. How do I usually say this? Professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner. Yes, that's correct. Here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Now, on this episode, a very after school special edition of the live stream, we are going to be testing our extrasensory perception using a tool called the Zener Cards. Now, the reason for this episode is one, I am trying and struggling against opening this deck that I received for the deck of the month for August, and I'm itching. I am itching to open this deck. Tarot of the Unexplained. I know you all know it, and I did hold it up the other week, and it got a little woo woo and a little pixelated. And I would not be surprised if that happened if I held it up right now. So I'm not going to. But I was really like strongly debating, like, ooh, should I do the unboxing tonight? And I was just like, no. Let's wait until August 2nd. Let's wait until the first Friday in August to do this. But so I was just like, okay, well, what am I gonna do tonight? What am I gonna teach tonight, if anything? Or is it just gonna be another, hey, what's up? It's a live stream. Let's do the 3 pillars and call it a day. But here's what I was thinking. The reason I was thinking this because the other day I was going through, actually the other day, more like a couple months ago, I was going through one of my boxes of decks. And by decks, I mean tarot deck, oracle decks, Lenormand, Kipper, Lenono, like all of these different decks that I have. Because I had this box and I'm just like, I don't know what's in it. I have to look through this, see, to sort out like what I have. I was trying to curate or possibly get rid of some decks. No, I have not gotten rid of any decks in this process. I've just realized the decks that I'm just like, oh yeah, look where I put that. Okay, like I really should use this deck. Or so there has been no getting rid. There has been no actual um, downsizing of my collection. No, it's more like curating and realizing I have a whole bunch of decks. Anyway, so one of the decks that I rediscovered was the Zener deck. And it is the Zener deck that we're going to use tonight is the Stick Peeps Fancy Zener. And just so you all know, even if you are not viewing the live stream, even if you're not live this time around, you can still play along. I'm going to give you a way to play along. So we'll get into that when we get into the main crux of tonight's episode. But I will encourage you to get a piece of paper and a pen and write and number each line 1 through 25. And the reason for that is I'm going to pull cards for you, and you are going to guess the cards. And we are going to determine your psychic prowess from this little test. Now, of course, I would not introduce every single episode of the live stream by saying you have intuition, you all have intuition, and then say, oh, some people have more intuition than others and blah, 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 blah. And this is the only way you can determine if you are psychic or not. No. This is come at it with a sense of play, because as you'll find, there are some psychic tests or psychic games that you're not going to excel at. And then there's some that you really will. And when I was first, learning to develop my intuition, I sucked at Zener Cards. I sucked at it. And statistical probability stated that they're like, even if you miss every single one of these, like that also does show some sort of psychic ability. So I see that Fran is here. Hello to Fran. I'm also seeing requests for readings. I don't do that in the live stream except for the mid-episode reading. So if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so. Tarotbyhilary.com is the only way to schedule a reading with me. Or you can stick around for the mid-episode reading, which will happen around the middle of the episode. Stay tuned to be considered for a live tarot reading, 3 cards right here on the broadcast. And again, the game is you can apply to win, but there can only be one winner. So, and if you don't win this week, then you'll just have to tune in next week and try again. But those are the opportunities to win a reading with me or get a reading with me. Also, we have many different moments to be read. We have astrology coming up, and we also have the weekend forecast coming up. So those are plenty opportunities to get the message that you're seeking without, begging for a free reading. So, but if you'd like to book a reading, tarotbyhilary.com. Okay, so Fran is here. Dina is here as well. Hello to my regulars. And we have a couple of main pillars during the episode that we do. We usually start off an episode with the astro-weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful Astro Biz Digest. Then I teach a little bit, or we're going to test our psychic prowess. And I will tell you more about that when we get there. We have the mid-episode reading, like I was saying before, and then we have at the end of the episode the weekend forecast, in which I pull either a tarot or an oracle card to read the energy of the weekend, so that you can step into the weekend prepared and not scared. And if you're liking what you're hearing, go ahead and click the bell, subscribe. Make sure that you are tuned in for when I go live and when I add new videos to this channel, wherever it is that you're tuning in from. I would really, really appreciate it. Let me pull up that cute little follow us widget. Adorbs, right? And of course, the aminals are getting into it too. You said 1 through 25. I was fighting with the dog. Yes, I believe you are going to number your paper 1 through 25, because there are 25 cards in a pack of Zener cards. So yes, 1 through 25. And leave room for your guess. There are 5 symbols, by the way, in a Zener deck: star, a square, a circle, a plus sign, and 3 wavy lines. Each Zener deck will have 24 cards in it, and then 5 of each of the symbol. And that is how we test it. So more about that in a second. Let us get into the astro weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful Astro Biz Digest. And let me pull up that information for you guys. Again, you are going to get an opportunity to number your paper when we get there. You don't have to do it right now. If you just want to sit and listen to the astro weather, you can do that too. I will give you time to number your paper 1 through 25, because I haven't even numbered my paper 1 through 25 yet. I was too busy writing up the description for this episode. So making sure the description box was filled in before I started recording. All right, so information about the Astro Biz Digest: $99 for a year-long subscription. Astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I find it to be very helpful in planning my personal life as well. And yeah, let's go. Let's get into that. And let me show you on screen where you can purchase a copy of it for yourself. thetarolady.com/astrobizdigest. And by the way, I only give like the main energies and the details for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I don't want to, give away the farm. I want Teresa to be able to have her work spotlighted, not stolen from. That is my intention when I highlight the Astro Biz Digest every week. And I've been a subscriber to the Astro Biz Digest ever since she started doing it. I don't know how many years ago. So let's see. Where is it? All right, cool. So like yesterday, for example, was really, really, really productive. This week is significant. So 2 planets move into rulership, a good thing, and the shadow period for Mercury retrograde kicks in. Boo. So yes, we are starting to see a few miscommunications, a few wacky energy going on in the spheres of technology, communication, and travel. So shadow period for Mercury retrograde. All right. So Monday morning, the sun headed into Leo. The sun rules Leo, so it operates on all cylinders in this placement. Noble leadership is in for the following 4 weeks. This is your chance to level up and make your mark. Remember that Leo loves to be seen. Hit up the PR and get your message and face out there. Sun in Leo elevates creativity and is perfect for content creation and idea conjuring sessions. Hit it hard and put your inner artist to work. So we are in the sun in Leo energy until August 22nd. So from this past Monday to August 22nd, we can take advantage of the sun in Leo. And then the sun moves into Virgo on August 22nd. And speaking of Virgo, Mercury, the planet of intelligence and communication, marches into the sign of Virgo on the 25th. So that happened yesterday. Once again, this is happy news because Mercury rules Virgo, so it's go time. During this transit, you can research, learn new things, teach, sort out details, edit, clean your office, process information. It's an awesome time also for nitpicky conversations and anything that requires mental sharpness. However, Mercury is also entering the shadow period this weekend. So that's the murky time before it stations retrograde. Yep. Mercury's coming up in retrograde. This is a time to ensure the safety of your data, back up your computers and all of your tech gear. And if you have pending contracts, sign them before August 4th when Mercury goes retrograde. All right, so those are the big things. Any questions so far before we move into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? And I am going to go ahead and drink from our unofficial sponsor, Liquid Death, Severed Lime, because I simply cannot find Perrier Lime ever anymore. So we have moved on to a new love affair with Liquid Death because it's cool looking, great name, and Severed Lime, lovely. Love to hear it. Like I said, unofficial sponsor of the live stream, Liquid Death, your move. So Friday begins on a good note and ends on a chill one. The Aries moon sextiles Jupiter at 9:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your green light to travel, market, pitch the media, contact publishers, and broadcast far and wide. Yay. At 6:14 p.m., which has just passed, the moon trines Venus and stations Void. This aspect is lovely for small gatherings, inspiring PR campaigns, or a cozy night with your honey. And believe me, that's what I plan on doing after the live stream. So today, Friday, is a power day for Aries and a weekday for Libra. So Saturday and Sunday. Saturday morning is mellow due to the void moon that continues. Use this part of the day for rest, tidying your office, and tying up loose ends. The weekend becomes inundated with creative vibes when the moon enters Taurus at 1:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Use the next 2 days to write, to make content, to conjure new product ideas, and beautify your website or your office. Stubborn dictator types stink up the airwaves when the moon squares Pluto at 2:41 p.m., but you're too busy making art to notice, I hope. Pop out a fun social media meme when the moon trines Mercury at 3:36 p.m. or automate it. Then take the rest of your Saturday off for rest and a good meal. Sunday is clear, ideal for a long day of creating or resting. It's your call. A lone aspect occurs at 9:42 p.m. when the moon sextiles Saturn. It's divine for work that requires concentration or cozying up in bed with a good book. You can guess what I'll be doing. And P.S., Mercury retrograde is coming soon. Back up your damn computers. Saturday is a power day for Aries and a weekday for Libra. And Sunday is a power day for Taurus and a weekday for Scorpio. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anyone wondering about other days in the week other than Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like Monday, like Tuesday, like Wednesday, like Thursday? Anything that went well, anything that went not so well, and are you looking for an astrological reason why? Now is the time to ask in the chat before we move on to the main part of tonight's episode, which is testing your ESP with Zener Cards. And I also want to check in, make sure we've got a tech check before we go any further. Is my audio good? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Everything copacetic? Let me know in the chat. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to hydrate some more, and I'm going to make sure I plug in my computer. Because sometimes we've actually have it zonk right out in the middle of a live stream, which I don't want to happen. And I'm also going to number this paper over here 1 to 25 in preparation for tonight's testing. So I won't be playing. I'm going to say that right now. As the proctor of tonight's ESP exam, I will not be playing along because I don't think that's very fair, and there's no way to really. I mean, I suppose there's a way to test it, but I want you guys to have something to some transmission. I'll explain in a second. First hydration. Hydration is always important. It's important when you're giving a tarot reading. It's important when you're getting a tarot reading. It's also important when you're doing a tapping session or EFT session. And also, it's just important to stay hydrated, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're in the summer months, it's incredibly warm, you're sweating, that water's got to go somewhere, and it needs to be recuperated. Make sure that you're staying hydrated. And no, coffee is not going to hydrate you. More's the pity, I know, but make sure you're offsetting your coffee in the morning with at least like a little bit of water. Don't be like me and drink 3 cups of coffee and be like, no, that's water, right? I'm hydrated, aren't I? No. All right. So while I number my piece of paper 1 through 25, I'm going to ask you to number your paper 1 through 25. And Fran is saying this whole week kind of fell into place and all the stress just fell away as things I've been working hard for came into fruition. That's fantastic news, Fran. I was going to mention as well that in the AstroBiz Digest, Teresa will usually pull a tarot card for the week. And this week's tarot card is the High Priestess. Intuition runs strong all week. You can trust your gut in every decision. If the vibes are a green light, go for it, and a red light, no. Sit tight. The more you listen to your sixth sense, the less likely you'll make costly errors. This card is fab for secrets, as in solving mysteries, getting the inside scoop, or giving your VIP clients exclusive deals. Mum's the word. Like, why am I mentioning that in the context of whole week has kind of fell into place? Because it's like sometimes the more we focus on a problem, it gets worse, not better. It gets more tangled up. I like to use the analogy of like the 8 of Swords, or you have a necklace in your jewelry box and it's all knotted because it's been stored that way. And the more you try and undo the knot, like the worse it gets. Like that's kind of how I see that kind of scenario. And if you just like let it be and you chill out, like, and you not force things, falls into place, the knots untangle. But like the more you come directly at a problem, sometimes the worse you make it, not better. So I definitely feel that whole falling into place energy and like just having it be what is. So that's fantastic. And I'm so glad to hear that, Fran. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Fran. You were part of it. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but you're very welcome to whatever it was I did. And sometimes I'm not even aware of what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So thank you. And also you're welcome. All right. So Zener Cards, right? So my piece of paper is blank, and I've got 1 through 15 on one column and then 16 through 25 on another column. If you have room on your piece of paper to go all the way down to 25, like sure, whatever. You don't need a lot of room. You just need enough room to write your guess. And in this case, I'm going to be writing down what the correct answer is. So that's the reason why I can't participate in, like, I have to be the proctor. I can't be the guesser because I got to write down the answers and also be the one to transmit. So Fran says, so I got my new roof. Awesome. I'm gonna make sure that you guys, like, so if you haven't written down 1 through 25 yet on a piece of paper, go ahead and do that. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about Zener cards. So this stack of this pack of Zener cards was given to me, or I think I might have ordered it through Gidget London. And I'm not sure if her website still exists, but it was gidgetlondon.com. But I believe you can still find a copy of this, or you can make your own. But if you want specifically the Stick Peeps Fancy Zener, you can find it, I think, on the Game Crafter website. So there you go. But we have information cards, free information cards on the top, and then the remainder of the cards, the 25 cards, are Zener cards. So artfully and whimsically pizzazz the popular Zener cards, Stick Peeps Fancy Zener cards, 25 cards in a pack. There are 5 symbols: a star, a square, a circle, a plus sign, and 3 wavy lines. Consists of 5 in each symbol. So 5 cards for each symbol, 25 cards in all. So Zener cards are cards used to conduct experiments for extrasensory perception, ESP, most often clairvoyance. Perceptual psychologist Carl Zener, 1903 to 1964, designed the cards in the early 1930s for experiments conducted with his colleague, parapsychologist J.B. Rhine. So sometimes you'll hear them called Zener cards. Sometimes you'll hear them called Rhine cards. Sometimes you'll hear them called both Rhine Zener or Zener Rhine. They're all the same. It's the 5 symbols, the star, the plus sign, the square, the circle, and the 3 wavy lines. So 1 to 3 players are suggested, but you can play with way more people than that. I play ESP Pixie all of the time by myself and sometimes with my imaginary friends. Okay, shuffle the cards, lay them all out face down in rows of 5. Meditate and third eye focus and guess each card one at a time in order. Write down your guess for each card. Do not turn over any cards till you have guessed each card and written down all guesses. So we are going to have to play the honor system, guys, whether you're watching the live or whether you're watching the replay. Honor system, okay? I am not going to ask you your guesses. I'm not going to ask you to put your guesses into the chat. I want you to write them down so that we can have this be as democratic, diplomatic, fair as possible. All right. If more than one person is playing, you may have your friend document your guesses on paper for you and you for your friend. So I will be the documenter here and I will also be the transmitter here. But still, no looking at cards till all are guessed and documented. You may wish to write out on paper to keep track of guess symbols and actual symbols. I like 100 guess increments, but you can guess as many as you like in 25 increments. So we're going to do 25 because, you know, I try not to do marathon sessions of this live stream, even though we have had some sessions in which we've been talking for hours. You know, I think 3 hours might have been our maximum at one time. And then we've also had different parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, especially when we were going through, like, I think the court cards. I think that was a multiple session episode, in which it was like part 1 week, and then the next week we went on to part 2. So this is not gonna be that type of episode, folks. So I think we're gonna do 25 increments. And then if this is fun for you, we can always do this another time too. So you would want to write down the name of the guesser, the date and time, the name of the documenter, your friend writing out your guesses, number of guesses, and number of hits. And then we have a results calculator in here, but I'm not going to mention the number of guesses and correct hits until after, because I think it will just skew the results. So try performing the test at different times of the day to see if this seems to make a difference. Try other variables, such as just after eating, just after waking from sleep, to see if there's significant difference in the results. So there you go. So Zener Cards, again, so I'm just going to quickly, this one has a stick figure in it. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is perhaps pull up an image of the 5 different symbols, so you at least have something to fixate on, so that you're not guessing like a tortoise. So like that's not one of the 5 symbols of the Zener cards. So let me quickly pull that up for you guys. All right. So there's your symbols right there. You got, and color has nothing to do with it. That just so happens to be a color associated with this particular depiction. But there is no color involved. It is just the symbol that you're guessing right now, okay? So you're either going to guess circle, cross, waves, square, or star. And you can either write down the symbol itself or write down the name of the symbol. That would be also acceptable. So in a test for ESP, the experimental picks up a card in a shuffled pack, observes the symbol, and records the answer of the person being tested, who would guess which of the 5 designs is on the card. The experimenter continues until all the cards in the pack are used. Poor shuffling methods can make the order of cards in the deck easier to predict, and the cards could have been inadvertently or intentionally marked and manipulated. In his experiments, J.B. Ryan first shuffled the cards by hand, but later decided to use a machine for shuffling. In his book, The New Apocrypha, John Sladek expressed incredulity at the tests, stating, "It's astonishing that playing cards should have been chosen for ESP research at all. They are, after all, the instrument of stage musicians and second-dealing gamblers. They can be marked and manipulated in many traditional ways. At the best of times, card shuffling is a poor way of getting a random distribution of symbols," which is kind of kind of precious to hear or to read about when you are a professional tarot reader, when you're a professional cartomancer, but you know, whatever. Like, okay, sure, why not? Anyway, me putting my face in the lower picture is the way to show all of the symbols. But you might want to actually write that down at the top of your piece of paper where you put the 25, so that you know what you're looking for. So actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down circle, cross, waves, square, and star. And I'll try and find a cuter image, I guess. So Rhine's experiments with Zener cards were discredited due either to sensory leakage or to cheating or both. The latter included the subject being able to read the symbols from slight indentations on the backs of the cards and being able to both see and hear the experimenter, which allowed the subject to note facial expressions and breathing patterns. So something similar, I guess, to a cold read. Terence Hines has written of the original experiments, the methods the Rhines used to prevent subjects from gaining hints and clues as to the design on the cards were far from adequate. In many experiments, the cards were displayed face up, but hidden behind a small wooden shield. Several ways of obtaining information about the design on the card remain even in the presence of the shield. For instance, the subject may be able sometimes to see the design on the face-up card reflected in the agent's glasses. Yeah, so we might have a little bit of an issue there. I'm pretty sure you can't see my glasses, so I'll have to look at the cards from down here so that we don't have a glare problem like that. Even if the agent isn't wearing glasses, it is possible to see the reflection in his cornea. Once Rhine took precautions in response to criticisms of his methods, he was unable to find any high-scoring subjects. The chemist Irving Langmuir called Rhine's experiments an example of pathological science, the science of things that aren't so, and criticized its practitioners not as dishonest people, but as ones that have sufficiently fooled themselves. So, for example, during James Randi's TV special Exploring Psychic Powers Live, a psychic was tested on a deck of 250 Zener cards and was only able to predict 50 of them correctly, which is the expected result of random guessing the cards. So again, regular probability. In 2016, Massimo Polidoro tested an Italian mother and daughter that were claiming a 90% and above success rate of psychic transmission using Zener cards. Upon restricting them from seeing each other's faces and to the use of a silent writing method, their success rate dropped to no better than chance. The women were cognizant of the fact that they required visual contact to achieve transmission of the symbols, stating, "This kind of understanding is so natural to us. All this attention to us is also very surprising. There are no tricks, but surely we understand each other with looks. It always happens." In June 2023, a novel approach to the usage of Zener cards was suggested, employing artificial intelligence. OpenAI's language model, ChatGPT, was proposed as a way to simulate Zener card experiments. And then we also have the statistics and the probability within a normal distribution. Probability predicts these test results for a test of 25 questions with 5 possible answers if chance is operating. And I'm not going to tell you the statistics. Like, don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me the odds. So let's just have fun tonight and play. All right, everybody with me so far? So by the way, that information was from the Wikipedia page for Zener Cards. All right, so Fran says, yep. All right, let me pull an image that might be a little bit smaller. A little bit better. So that shows all of them represented. And this, by the way, is the cover of Zener Cards, a Zener Cards deck made by an imprint of Llewellyn Publications, which is Lo Scarabeo, or Lo Scarabeo. I think I pronounced that correctly. Okay, so let's play, right? Let us play. Let us have fun. And then I will tell you the probability according to Gidget London's. Am I seeing these exact cards? No, I'm not. But I am seeing the symbols that go along with it. And they're just a little bit more, I don't know, fun. So I am going to go ahead and shuffle randomly. And I don't know what these cards are going to be. But I feel like I talked about this a little bit in a past episode, possibly, or on the podcast. I'm not sure. But I would do this with other people in my younger days, especially when I was a teenager. Like, I was obsessed with all things ESP. I was fascinated by it. Lois Duncan's A Gift of Magic was like one of my favorite books about, there was three kids, and there was the son who was I think a musician. The sister was a dancer, and then Nancy had the gift of magic, which was like, she was basically psychic. She could always tell what was happening, when it was happening, etc. So I was obsessed, and I always wanted to be psychic. I feel like that's like, if you're a weird teenage girl, you're obsessed with like getting a boyfriend and also having magical powers, or at least that was my two twin obsessions. And I also have written about this before. So I don't remember if I ever had a Zener deck of my own, or, this was the infancy of the internet. So I might have had found a Zener card randomizer on the internet, and me and my friends would hang out in the library at school and test ourselves, and or try and, you know, hold up. Like, I mean, you can make your own set of Zener cards because it's just these 5 symbols, at 5 times each for a total of 25 cards. You can write them out on index cards if you want to, and then voila, like you have your Zener cards. So the thing about transmission, though, is where are you getting this information from? You know, like it could be that we can all do this together and guess the facts and continue to do it. But my point of this was, when I would do this when I was younger, I would always get it wrong, but it would be the next card. So I would guess like circle and it would be square, but then the next card would be circle, but then I would be guessing the next card. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like there was some statistical anomalies that were going on with me, but you know, like there's like probability wise, there's no way to like, there's, if you guess all 25 wrong, like that's a statistical anomaly to the negative rather than the positive, and that also says something about your intuition one way or the other. So I want you guys to keep that in mind before we go ahead and do this. So I'm shuffling, and please confirm, give me a yes in the chat, to confirm that you are aware of the symbols that are right up on the screen, that we're working with here, and that you have written out on your piece of paper 1 through 25. I mean, you can also write out as you go, as you guess. So I'm shuffling, I'm randomizing these cards. I'm also going to do a messy pile. You know what else? You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to walk into the other room and I'm going to ask Mr. Tarot by Hilary to shuffle these cards. Give a little bit more to this, all right? So I'll be right back. He doesn't know I'm about to do this, by the way. Of course, the one time that he steps outside, it's the one time I need him to shuffle. So, all right, shuffling, shuffling, shuffling. Shuffling, shuffling, shuffling. All right, are we ready? Let's go. All right, card number 1. And I'm going to dip it low, and I will transmit it through my eyes. So you're not seeing the reflection in my eyes or my glasses. It's card number 1. Okay. Card number 2. Card number 3. Card number 4. Card number 5. Card number 6. Card number 7. Card number 8. Card number 9. Card 10. Card 11. Card 12. Card 13. Card 14. Card 15. Card 16. Card 17. Card 18. Card 19. Card 20. Card 21. Card 22. Card 23. 24. And the final card, card 25. All right. Are your guesses in and written down on your piece of paper? Fantastic. Good job, everybody. All right. So let's do, now that we have tested your psychic prowess and you have all of your guesses 1 through 25 written down, we will do a break for the mid-episode reading, and then we will reveal the results and what those results mean. So let us choose a keyword for our mid-episode reading, and I think just lowercase ESP is going to be our keyword. So I'm going to update this. And we are going to hide those symbols. And for those OGs that are part of the live stream, the Tarot by Hilary live stream community, feel free to tell people about how this goes, or, you know, show them how this is done. And our basically what this is you drop the keyword into the chat if you would like to be considered for the mid-episode reading. We can pick one winner from that. Using that keyword in the chat will automatically drop your name into the lottery jar that is right over here. And then I will pick a winner from that jar and pull three cards to answer that question or that situation. And if you are experiencing somebody soliciting or a reading, or soliciting you buying a reading in the chat, that is not me. I am not affiliated with that person. Please go ahead and block, report and block, please and thank you. And I will put 3 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock. If we have no takers, then we will just go ahead and reveal the answers to the Zener cards. So yes, Fran is saying you just won, but if there are no takers within, I don't know, if we have a minute left and no one participates, then feel free to put your name in the hat. I do not mind at all. And let me just double check that everything's good grief. Like a moderator's job is never done. Yeah, exactly. Friends like Bueller? or ESP. Here we go. With 5 seconds to go, Fran is the automatic winner. Fran is the automatic winner. Yay, Fran, of tonight's mid-episode reading. And I always find it really, really amusing when there are people that tune into the episode and immediately want a general reading, like out of nowhere. And then I say my spiel about the mid-episode reading, about the astro-weather, about the weekend forecast, and notice that they never stick around for that. They just don't. They want what they want when they want it, and they very rarely, if ever, will book a paid reading. which is a shame because I'm a really good reader. So, Fran, you know how this works. Go ahead and drop your question into the chat, and I will pull 3 cards for your question. And if you have a request on deck, I can also fulfill that request within reason. I know probably people are like, no archetypes, no archetypes. Yeah, exactly. Nope, they just want something for free. Or they want to spam. I noticed how there was a lot of both going on. So, all right. You got it. Let's just do a general reading. You got it, hon. Okay. Well, let us use the reflective tarot if you don't have a preference. If you do have a preference, speak now or forever hold your peace, or at least till the next time you get a reading. But I'm feeling called to use the reflective tarot because it's a nice spin on the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's actually based upon my workhorse deck, which is the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith, which has more of a watercolory feel to it, but it is a mini deck as well. So small, fits in the palm of my hand, fantastic. So, and no specifications for a particular deck, so cool. All right, just what do you most need to know right now? It says, that's as general a question as we usually like to do. So what do you most need to know right now? And then after the mid-episode reading, we will do the Zener card reveals. All right. So you do have some energies coming up for you, Fran, that are, I wouldn't say concerning, but I feel like you were saying how this week everything fell into place. And I do think that like kind of energy will continue. It won't feel exactly like up here though. It's going to drop down a little bit. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you've got the 10 of Pentacles reversed, which is not necessarily bad. And then you've got the 7 of Wands, which is the card that I'm really focused on right now because it's the middle card of it. So it feels like something's going to put you back onto the defensive. And then finally, you have the Magician card reversed. So the 2 most concerning cards I see right now are the 7 of Wands upright and the Magician card reversed. And I feel like there is this kind of like going with the flow, absolutely. Things falling into place, yeah, 110%. But also, like, for some reason, like, things are going to come at you. I feel like this is like in the coming week, or the next 2 weeks, general reading. Things are going to come up for you, and it's like, it's almost like the things that would have bothered you maybe even a week ago don't seem to bother you as much, or you have this kind of like, it'll be what it is. Like you have this like, don't sweat the small stuff kind of vibe about you. There is going to be something like the 10 of Pentacles reversed. I'm not so thrilled about that particular card because to me, it's like a smaller windfall than you want, or there's some particular miscommunication with money, or with money that you thought was guaranteed is not as guaranteed or not as much as you were expecting. So to me, it's almost like it's not the right season for it, but it's almost like a tax return that you thought was going to be more is kind of less or halved, something of that nature. Like it just feels as if like this thing that you were expecting, like that check in the mail, is either delayed or is less than you expected it to be. 7 of Wands is definitely the strongest card here. And I feel like the Magician card reversed is only saying like with the 7 of Wands, not necessarily what it is you have to defend against, but how you can defend against it, which is flexibility and, pivoting. And I feel like it's almost like it hasn't been a lesson that you've been getting a lot up until recently. And now it's just like that's all I do. It's like that's all I do is pivot and be flexible. Like what the fuck? So it's not necessarily a bad reading, but it's not like an absolute like banger of a reading either. It's kind of like, be warned that there's going to be something coming up in the next 2 weeks that's going to put you on the defensive, and to remain flexible and like lean, like flexible, like mean and lean, like lean and mean, that kind of like energy. Because like the less eggies that you put in a specific basket, the more like the less unpacking you have to do. Where it's just like, oh no, not that basket. Like, let's move all these eggies back into this. And it's just like, no, spread out your eggies. I don't even know if that was English, what I just said. Was that English, or am I just, tarot sometimes, or psychic information is sometimes just the language of symbols. And half the time I don't know if I'm making sense or not, or half the time I'm just like, what the fuck did I just say? But those are the 3 cards that I'm seeing, and that's the energy that I'm getting. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm not completely crazy. Makes perfect sense. All right, cool. So that is your reading. Like, be warned, like 10 of Pentacles, windfall to a lesser amount, 7 of Wands, get on the defensive, but be flexible. And the way to defend the best is to be flexible, be ready to pivot. And maybe that's the reason why nobody spoke up, because you needed this reading right now. Who knows? Also, there is a tapping that I want to do, a shorter tapping that I want to create about not being concerned, like not sweating the details, and it's something that came up in a tapping that I was doing along with Gala Darling, like one of the many tapping videos that she has on her membership site, High Vibe Honey. But one of the phrases she said gave me an idea to do an entire tapping, although a shorter tapping, on just that particular phrase, which is allowing the details to take care of themselves. And I feel like that is something that, one, you've learned this week, and also that's going to help you. That attitude of allowing the details to take care of themselves will allow you to maximize the energy of this particular reading for the next 2 weeks. And that's your reading. That's your reading for tonight, friend. Yeah, ride the wave. Ride the wave. And speaking of riding the wave is one of the 5 symbols of the Zener cards. So let's go ahead and reveal your results and what those results mean. And thank you once again to Fran for being open and vulnerable enough to receive a tarot reading in a public sphere. I appreciate it so much. And if you like what you're hearing from me, just know that we do these episodes every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except when I say 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we will be doing an unboxing of the Tarot of the Unexplained, which is August deck of the month for card of the day pulls. So I hope you join us then. And also, if you're feeling left out and you're just like, oh, I wish I had been around so that I could have participated in the mid-episode reading, like, Never fear, we do it every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you just have to tune in then to have a chance to win. All right. Let us, and also, again, make sure that you're following me. Click the like button, click the bell to make sure you're subscribed, click the bell for all new notifications of when I go live and also when I add new videos to this channel, especially those tapping videos that I was mentioning. However, those might be exclusive to Gala's membership site, or possibly a new app that's being developed for Gala Darling Method EFT tapping certified practitioners. But more information about that soon. So, and also please know you can book a reading with me at tarotbyhilary.com, or you can book a tapping session with me there too, or both. All right, shuffling this up. And these go back into the box. And we are revealing our results of the Zener Cards experimentation, testing our ESP with this particular deck, which is the Stick Peeps. So, I have the stack in order. And I also wrote down, so we have our answer key. So if you are playing along on the replay, pause. Pause the video. Make sure you go back and write down your answers 1 through 25. Okay. Have you done it? Have you done it? Promise me. Promise me, Girl Scout, promise me that you've done it. Okay. Now it's time for the reveals. All right. So card number 1, and go ahead and mark your sheets with your hits or your misses, okay? Because we need to know how many hits that you get, okay? All right. Number 1 card was the cross. Number 1, the cross. Number 2 was the star. Number 3 was the circle. Number 4 was the square. Number 5 was the star. Number 6 was the circle. And yes, there is a little stick figure right there. Number 7 was the square. Number 8 was the cross. Number 9 was the waves. Number 10 was the cross. Number 11 was the square. Number 12 was the circle. Number 13 was the square. Number 14 was the waves. Number 15 was the star. Number 16 was the waves. Number 17 was the waves. Number 18 was the circle. Number 19 was the cross. Number 20 was the cross. Number 21 was the star. 22 was the square. 23 was the star. 24 was the waves. And finally, the last card, number 25, was the circle. So go ahead and tally up. Let me know in the chat the number of hits, which would be correct answers that you got out of 25. And let me know if you need me to give you the list again. And by the way, if you're playing at home and you weren't available to be on the live, that's okay. Go ahead and comment anyway on this video what your number was. I'd love to see it. Blank out of 25, or just the number of hits you got. All right. So Fran has shared her result, 7 out of 25. Now, what does that mean? Let us go to the odds, the probability, okay? So a super easy results calculator, and keep this in mind. We are only doing this for 25, okay? 7 out of 25. Now, your results are going to vary if you did this more than just one pack of cards, just 25 times, okay? So you can always do more sessions. You can do 50 guesses. I would say do it in increments of 25 so that you can have it be easier to calculate your probability. But out of 25 guesses, one hit is you're tuned in okay, and 2 or more hits are you're so psychic. So that is the key from Gidget London. So Fran, you're really psychic. 7 out of 25 hits, you're really psychic. So let's get some more probability from the Zener page. Let's see. Let's see, where is it? Because there was a better probability scale. Here, this is from the APA, which is the American Psychological Association. So Carl Zener was out of Duke University, and so was Rhine, J.B. Rhine. After hearing Scottish author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle give a lecture attesting to the scientific proof that one could communicate with the dead, Rhine became interested in examining ESP, and he set up a laboratory to test subjects for psychic abilities. One of his experiments was the Zener cards. The backside of the card had a blue background with a design and a Duke building. Although Ryan did much of the research, he had Zener design the card since Zener was a perceptual psychologist. Ryan would hold up the card with the backside forward and ask the subject to tell him what design was on the front of the card. To remove shuffling errors, he used a machine. To eliminate the chance of card counting, he did not tell subjects if they were correct or not on a guess. See, I did that automatically. Isn't that great? To remove physical or facial cues, he put subject and experimenter in different rooms. And in one test, he put a high-performing subject and experimenter 250 yards apart. All of these tests were done in different conditions to strengthen the scientific validity of the results. And he published his book in 1934 entitled Extrasensory Perception, summarizing his years of research with the cards. He believed the data was supportive enough of ESP to warrant continued investigation. His research inspired the growth of parapsychology, but today ESP remains at the fringe of scientific inquiry, with 96% of scientists in the National Academy of Sciences skeptical of the concept still. Regardless, Ryan infused an area of folk wisdom with a scientific quality that was previously absent, and it's hard to criticize the man for applying scientific rigor to the field. Zener card probability. There we go. That was what I was looking for. Thank you. Okay. So the results. Probability predicts these test results for a test of 25 questions with 5 possible answers if chance is operating. So this is chance, all right? 79% of people will get between 3 and 7 correct. Probability is a more precise calculation. The probability of guessing 8 or more correctly is 10.9%. In a group of 25, you can expect several scores in this range by chance. Getting 15 out of 25 correct is about 1 in 90,000. Getting 20 out of 25 correct is about 1 in 5 billion. And getting all 25 correct has a probability of about 1 in 300 quadrillion. And there is a distribution chart as well. So technically speaking, 7 out of 25, you are in the range of chance probability, Fran. But Gidget, who put this in here, says 2 or more hits is awesome, and you're so psychic for guesses out of 25. So, which is why I prefaced this episode with play, the concept of play, right? Test your ESP. So that's why I said for entertainment purposes only, because I truly believe everyone has intuition, and a game like this, it's one of many psychic games that you can play to test your psychic perception. And there are different portions of this that you might not be good at, or you might be good at. For example, when I took what I like to call Intuition 101 at the Open Center down in New York City, my teacher was the wonderful Stacy Wolf, who wrote the book Psychic Living, and also Never Throw Rice at a Pisces. 2 different books, by the way. And she taught there, and she was one of the people that encouraged me to continue using tarot cards, because she was just like, that's your way in. It's just like, this is the person that actually made it. One of the people that made it into my book, How to Read Tarot, that came out 2 years ago from Flame Tree Publishing. This is it right here. Did you know that I'm a published author? I am. But one of the things, like, I was really like, oh, is tarot a crutch? You know, like, I want to be the kind of person that can, like, pick up information out of nowhere and do this and do that and be like super psychic. And And, we all have our tools, and tarot is a tool just like any other. It's a way to spark our intuition, our imagination. Same thing with these Zener cards. It's a way to spark our imagination and our intuition. So, tarot works because we believe that it works. I'm trying to look for that particular story in here, and I'm pretty darn sure that I told that story. But I'm not gonna. Of course, I'm not gonna find it right now because it's like my guides are trying to tell, like, just say it in your own words, Hilary. You already told the story in your book, so people can read it in the book if they want to. But basically, I stuck. I was not good at like any of the psychic games that we would play in this Intuition 101 course. Especially like remote viewing. There would be an image in an envelope, in a manila envelope, which was sealed on both sides, so you couldn't hold it up to light to see what the image was, or anything. So I would always get that, and then we were told to like draw what we thought was in the envelope. I would never get it anywhere close to being right. We would do remote viewing, which was someone would sit at the other side of the room and look at a picture, and then we were supposed to intuit what the picture was that was being sent to us. Couldn't do that either. So there was all of these different games that was basically telling me like, I suck at this. Like, maybe I shouldn't be an intuitive for a living. Maybe I should just put my tarot cards down and not do this, because clearly I suck. And what I was told by my teacher towards the end of the chorus, I basically like asked my question. It's just like, okay, well, am I like cheating? Am I like should I not be using my tarot cards? Are my tarot cards a crutch? And I was told, no, your tarot cards are a tool. Like, do you feel they're a crutch? Like, it's not like you're relying on them, but you're like trusting your intuition in other ways. But it's just like, but that is your tool to access your intuition. So use your tool to access your intuition. And after that, I felt so much better, because this was someone that I looked up to and had books on psychic development out on the market. And also, like, I really, like, even though I sucked at all of these different games, I also didn't feel entirely frustrated by the process either. I kind of, I guess, intuitively, realized that there were many ways to access our intuition. And, just because some people were good at those particular games, like remote viewing, doesn't necessarily mean that I sucked at being psychic. It was just simply more possibility, where it's just like, oh, we access our intuitive information in different ways. And maybe I'm not so good at that, but I'm good at other things, other ways of accessing my intuition. So all of that, this entire live stream was basically the point of have fun. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, have fun with your intuition. Not all psychic games are created equal. There's also a book that I'd love to recommend called Cassandra's Party Games, or Cassandra's Psychic Party Games. Cute little book. Like, I think it was like a pink cover. I think it might be out of print at this time, and I don't even know if I still own my copy. But there was some super fun psychic games that you can play. And I also recommend this in one of the articles that I wrote on my website called Be Your Own Psychic, or Be Your Own Psychic Party. In those cases where you're not able to hire a tarot reader or a professional psychic for your party, like, why not be your own psychic and have a little fun with it? And make sure you have a variety of games, not just playing with the Zener cards, because this is supposed to be fun. And it's just like, this is not a competition, even though, like, please come please let me know if you get 25 out of 25, because like like you are one out of a three, what was the statistic? 3 quadrillion, 1 in 300 quadrillion. So if you're one of 300 quadrillion, like, I'd like to know about it. But this was more of a point of have fun with it. Not all psychic games are created equal, and you may have excelled at the Zener cards. That's great, but I want to show you that there are different possibilities out there to accessing your intuition. And also, I was told last time I did my Zener cards, it's been a long time, by the way, that the statistical probability, like, I was outside of those statistical probabilities, where it's just like it's not in the statistics here on the Wikipedia website for Zener cards, but I do remember it was in another probability where it's just like, it was called like the negative probability, where it's just like, you can't possibly guess all of them wrong. But I did. See, it's at like 79% of people will get between 3 and 7 correct. Like, I was getting 0. I was getting 0 or 1, and it was simply because I was intuiting the symbol that came after. Like, for example, in our particular test tonight or today or whenever you're tuning in, like, if number 1 was the cross, I was guessing the star, which was the second one. If if number 2 was the star, I was guessing the circle, which would be the subsequent one after that. So we did some testing amongst my friends, and it was just like, oh yeah, you keep on getting just the next one. I'm like, well, clearly that must say something as well. So that's what I mean when I say some of this probability and negative probability. It's just like, that also shows something too. So pay attention to when you're playing these games and how you're receiving that information. You might learn a little bit more about how your intuition works for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this fun little test your psychic prowess with test your ESP with Zener cards. I hope you enjoyed it. And let us pull the card for the weekend forecast before we wrap up. And I think I'm going to go with oh, good. I was looking for that book. I was looking for this book. Okay. Let us go with the Starseed Oracle for tonight's weekend forecast. I have made a mess out of my workspace. All right. All right, from the Starseed Oracle. What do we need to know for this weekend? I mean, other than the astrology that we got at the top of the episode. This one's right here. This is actually incredibly perfect, especially for Mr. Tarot by Hilary. I'm going to say it. I'm going to bring this card right into the other room when I'm done with this live stream. Sometimes he tunes in on the down low to these episodes, so it's kind of funny. But this is the card Weight of the World. Boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. And the reason why I am kind of laughing at this image is because it looks like this woman kind of floating on her back in water. And that's exactly what I suggested we do this weekend, specifically tomorrow. And he was fighting me on it. And I'm just like, you need pool time. Like, you need pool time. You need to chillax to the millax. So I feel very vindicated. I feel vindicated just from this imagery and the keywords that are coming up. But let's see what the guidebook has to say. Because lately, some of these messages that I've been getting, either on the live stream or card of the day, the archetype, like, I've been kind of deflecting it over to him and being like, what do you think about that? Does that resonate with you? What kind of flavor? And he's just like, stop it. Like, get away from me. Like, you're creeping me out. Like, no, go. And I'm just like, I love you. All right. So, weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Like, I would think by now, like, he's used to being creeped out by me. Like, it doesn't faze him anymore, but still, on occasion, I guess I still creep him out. You don't need to carry it all. You're no good to anyone if you're running on empty and bogged down by the weight of the world. This card is a reminder to look after your own well-being before anyone else's, to stop carrying the world's problems on your shoulders, to put on your own oxygen mask first. In these changing times, it's hard not to feel overwhelmed by the state of the planet. However, you can't take on its problems from a place of energetic depletion. This card is thanking you for caring so much. You want to build a better world and ease the road for others, and that's incredible. But the way you've been doing so is likely unsustainable. This isn't to say you should switch off to the world's problems and become unconscious. Rather, it's a call to establish clear boundaries so you're not constantly taken out energetically. The planet needs you to be healthy, both physically and emotionally. So instead of digesting the news or reaching for your phone as soon as you wake up, ooh, guilty, okay? Show up first to a nourishing practice such as meditation, soul inquiry, deep breathing, or exercising in nature. Tapping. Once you're in a state of grace and your inner well is full, you can face the day, the state of the world, and care for others. And at the day's end, take an energetic shower by emptying out anything that is not yours to carry. You can pick it up again the next morning if you so choose, but give yourself time and space to rejuvenate and rest. The inquiry is, what are you carrying that isn't even yours? I just read the cards. I just read the energy. Fran says, oh, all of them. Everyone's card a day. Yes, all of them. That deck, like this deck, Wild Unknown Archetypes deck is just like coming for the throat all day, every day, which is wonderful. Like, I know of a couple of people that have reached out to me to say, like, it arrived, like, it's here. Like I got it because you recommended it. And it's just like, and I was just like, good luck. good luck. Like, I hope in your hands that it's kinder, but also at the same time, like, I can't control that as well. So, weekend forecast from the Starseed Oracle, weight of the world, which I feel like this is a card that doesn't come up that often. We're like, more often than not, we get like the boundaries card. And in some ways, the weight of the world is a boundaries card. But like this, like a lot of the Starseed Oracle has very similar messages, but like a little bit of like a different facet or a different flavor. Like water your garden, for example, is a very similar card in nature to letting it go, nourishing, self-care, but it's coming at it from a very different angle than weight of the world, right? So anyway, all right, we're done. I'm going to go and take this card's advice. First of all, I'm going to fling this card in Mr. Tarot by Hilary's face. And then I'm going to eat dinner and we're going to watch Cobra Kai because we haven't started that up yet. And by the way, to all of you who have been laughing at some more personal stuff that I've been posting about Mr. Tarot by Hilary and him watching Bridgerton, he watched the entire thing. So he's all caught up, by the way. And he starts like, I think have I mentioned this in a previous live stream? Possibly. He has this whole like process where it's just like, first he comes into the room and he makes fun of what I'm watching. And then he sits down and starts asking questions. Now I know that I might have him. And that if he breaks out the snacks, that's the third and final step to indoctrination. So that happened a little bit with Grey's Anatomy, but he's like in and out with Grey's Anatomy. I'm on season 12 of Grey's Anatomy. So he's like in and out. He hasn't watched every single episode, but he's like kind of familiar and he like hates that he knows different characters at this point. But Bridgerton, he watched start to finish. So someone reached out to me about a behind the scenes thing that happened in season 3 and had he watched it. And I'm just like, well, now that he's caught up, I can show him this. So thank you to everyone who's been laughing at his watching, his TV or movie habits, because I'm glad that you derive joy from it. I know that I do. I think he's hilarious. So anyway, that has been all for tonight's episode. I thank you all so much for watching and tuning in, especially when I have a half an hour later start. Usually it's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We started at 7 tonight, but I hope you catch up on the replay if you are so inclined. Again, if this live stream is something that you enjoy, please feel free to book a reading with me, an email reading with me. I can also do readings or tapping sessions via phone, Zoom, Skype, all the different things. And if you enjoy these episodes, you can also feel free to express your pleasure monetarily by sending a donation to the tip jar. You can either do so at PayPal or at Venmo. I have options for both. Let's see. Where can I show that? Oh, I can hold, please. Yes, so we've got, yes. Let me hide that. Perfect. So PayPal is right there, and you can also do it through paypal.me/tarot by Hilary NY. And you can also donate through Venmo is a different one. I am not sure where the heck I have my my QR code. It's somewhere. But that is venmo.com/tarot by Hilary NY. So, or if you don't feel like doing it monetarily, that is totally fine too. I understand, but I would love you to go ahead and share this video with someone, especially if it's someone that's like, you know what, I want to test my ESP. Let me try it out. You can try it out with Zener Cards by sharing this episode with them. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for participating, whether on the replay or live on the live stream. Once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, don't argue with me. You have intuition. Even if you were bad at the Zener cards, I am too. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week. And I will see you next time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday nights. Our next episode is Friday, August 2nd. For a second there, I was going to say 6th. No, I think it's August 2nd, where we will be doing a live unboxing of the Tarot of the Unexplained. I am so afraid to hold it up right now because last time I did, everything got pixelated. So I'm not going to hold it up right now, but that is what we're doing for the next episode. So I hope you tune in then. Bye.